Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Imholtz at the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Mondays with the Mayor. I'm so glad that you can join us this afternoon. I hope you had a great weekend. While I have everyone, I just remind you, tomorrow we have our networking event. It's virtual. It's our monthly before 9. It's at 8:30 in the morning. So join us virtually for that. That information is on our calendar. We'll have some networking. We'll learn about Hyatt Place in Town Center. And we're going to have a little tutorial with Three Chairs Productions about how you can create an awesome social media video. And then later on tomorrow at 3:30, we have the Pivot with John Carroll. So look forward to those two virtual events tomorrow, and looking forward once again to Mondays with the Mayor, as I know Shane Griffin is our Mount Pleasant Chamber President. Hello, Shane.
Hey, Rebecca, it's good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your efforts in helping us with Mondays with the Mayor. My hope is that the sound is okay today.
It's perfect.
Excellent. For whatever reason, the gremlins seem to always come about when I'm talking. So I'm trying to use my inside voice and not my big voice. So hopefully that is helping. Would like to at this time welcome in the Honorable Will Haynie, our Mayor, and also Lauren Sims. Hello there.
Hello.
Great to see you. Hey, there he is, Mr. Mayor. Good to see you, sir.
Scared you since Zoom was down internationally earlier today.
Yeah, I guess with the first day of, and of course my dogs will start barking the minute that this call starts. Hey, you want to hold it down in there? Anyway, hang on one second. Let me close this door. I apologize. The beauty of live television. All right. Yeah, there was an international interruption with Zoom today, evidently with the first day of college and online courses and all that. I guess the system crashed, but they got it all up and running and everything is okay. So we appreciate both of your time here today. I know you've got a lot on your plates, and we thank you for the time that you're taking. I know it's a busy time right now with all that's going on with the comp plan and council meetings and committee meetings and all that. Before we get into a lot of the business of the town, I came across an interesting article in Forbes that I thought was pretty interesting, and this is actually from a couple of weeks ago, back on the 12th of August, so the numbers might even be better than this, Mr. Mayor. I'd love to get your input, but according to the article in Forbes, South Carolina DHEC announced that parts of the state under public mask wearing mandates registered a 46.3% drop in coronavirus cases in the 4 weeks after those were introduced. So again, this was 2 weeks ago. Hopefully the numbers have gotten a lot better, but it seems like so far, and we can also see it in the numbers as the cases are down, but it seems like wearing masks is working. Your thoughts, Mayor?
Yeah, and I'll go back as well to my barber's story, not story, but his information that I've shared maybe the last 2 weeks, and you might be getting tired of it. But there's a local business whose business doubled after the mask ordinance went into effect, even though it didn't prescribe barbershops. And when he asked his customers, they said that it was safer to go out. And so I'm speaking to you as business owners. I don't know how you feel about masks personally, but I think what we know from what we're hearing from people, I know the restaurants and the bars, the state association went to the governor and said make it mandatory in restaurants and bars. That safety is a brand now, and if the public feels safe in your establishment, you're going to have more business. So that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear. You know, it's one thing when we say it, we're the policymakers. I guess it's another. There's been I've seen some doubt expressed when the medical university and our own hospitals in east of the Cooper say it, and when South Carolina DHEC says it. But when you hear that reported from something like Forbes, which is a business journal, hopefully it'll hold some weight, because at the end of this month, in a week, we're going to have to sit down and talk about our mask ordinance again, because by law it expires at the end of this month.
Yeah, it's interesting too, where I saw in that same article, and forgive me for looking at the article as we talk about it, because I wanted to get the information correct, but it said around 60% of South Carolinians do not live in an area with a mask mandate, according to the state. So even with a large percentage of the state not being under any kind of a mask requirement, the numbers are still coming down, and obviously it comes from the largest population centers: Greenville, Charleston, Mount Pleasant, so on and so forth. And so if you can get a handle on those large population areas, then obviously, hopefully, the rest of the state will kind of take care of itself. Your thoughts on that, Mayor? You there? I think we lost the mayor. He's a little frozen up there. So hopefully the mayor can join us. Again, we had some Zoom issues earlier today. Zoom internationally was knocked offline and just now getting back up and running. So Lauren, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I know that question was directed at the mayor, but your thoughts on those statistics?
Yeah, I mean, I think the general sentiment is that, masks will do, well, let me put it this way. It's just another thing to help us in beating this virus. And so it's not doing any harm. And so it's a simple thing to do, to put on a mask, to go into a business, to protect yourself and protect others around you. So we're definitely seeing the benefits of that. And when I know when town council passed the mask ordinance, MUSC was telling us wait 2 weeks and see what the numbers look like. And sure enough, that was around the time where our numbers started to drop. And they've continued to drop since then. So we're hopeful to continue to see those numbers drop. I know we've, school's starting back, and we've got a whole bunch of things happening in the fall. I know the governor made some recommendations to have guidelines issued for assisted living facilities. So we've got some big changes coming up in the fall. So we'll just continue to encourage folks to don that mask whenever they're out and about.
Mayor, I see we have you back, sir, I think.
Yeah, it just disappeared. My whole Zoom crashed. I don't know what the problem was. Is my sound okay?
You got some static, but it's okay.
All right, let me try to reduce that real quickly. Okay, is that better?
It's a little bit better. It's certainly listenable. It's not anything that's not listenable. So we appreciate folks' patience with our technical issues. Again, Zoom had some international problems earlier today, and it's been sporadic, kind of in and out. So, Mr. Mayor, we were wrapping up with the statistics and talking about how, the mask ordinances in the parts of the state that are in place, we're seeing a dramatic drop in cases, and obviously a drop in cases from a larger standpoint. So before we move on to the rest of our agenda today, anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think it's a combination of things. One of the things is that when the numbers spiked in July and in June, and we all took action, especially in the Low Country, and I think there are 80 municipalities across the state that now have a mask ordinance of some degree, that people realize those numbers were going to do, weird things to schools, to sports, to the ability to have meetings, businesses closing down. You've heard me say this again, not because of the government, but because of the virus. And I think people changed their behaviors and started taking more precautions and taking them more seriously. So I won't say it was just the mask. I will say it was the combination of things, including the mask.
Talk a little bit about, from a financial standpoint, what kind of an issue this has been for local businesses. I understand you have some data and some information in regards to statewide, like an economic update, and how the COVID has affected small and local businesses. What are some of the numbers that you have there?
This is some numbers that I got. I'm on the One Region Task Force that worked with the medical university to come up with all the protocols for businesses by industry sector on how to reopen and stay open, because that is the goal. So these numbers are a little old, and a lot of these reflect the numbers that were gotten in July that were through June. So we're waiting to get August. We'll have a meeting this Wednesday. So these numbers reflect June, July. We're still waiting on some. People might have some. But unemployment in the state was at 9%. At one time it had been a lot higher than that. New claims for unemployment were going down by half week over week. So that was a real good sign. And I found this interesting, that for all of Charleston County from January, from the pre-COVID numbers, that the gross domestic product was only down 6.9%. We get the feeling that it's down a whole lot worse, that it's much worse than that, but 7% down is a number that is very encouraging. We want it to not be down, we want it to be up. But I was pleasantly surprised by that. Consumer spending in the state with small businesses, which is fewer than 500 employees, was only down 4.4%. So I'm not saying that being down is good, but I'm saying only 4.4% is a lot better than most of us were anticipating at this point. And new businesses across the state are up. The formations are up across the state. I don't know what the number is on that, but they were up. And then Lauren, who's sitting in the other picture window here, as we Brady Bunch, she compiled these 3-year numbers because we wanted to see what it's doing in the town of Mount Pleasant for right now. Now, one of the reasons, and I'll talk about this trend in a second. When you get to February, from February through June, February through May, the numbers are down. Well, that's obviously COVID time, but these are our new business numbers, and so it could be a combination of things. And another is we postponed your business license fees having to be paid in business license renewals till August 31st. Right, Lauren? You have till next Monday to get your business license paid. So everything, and our year runs a fiscal year July 1 to June 31st. So July, August, September, October, we were normal or ahead through the calendar year last year. And then we're pretty far ahead in January. So new businesses were up. Keep in mind that it was the first year that we required short-term rentals to get a business license. And that's a whole different topic, but some of those are short-term rentals. And then you look at February, March, April, and May, and where the new businesses were running 150 a month, 150, 146, 139, 160. That's February, March, April, and May, respectively, 2 years ago. And then for February, March, April, and May of this year, they were down to 91, 72, 58, and 52. But that's to be expected during very unprecedented times. And then for June, after everything opened back up and life got sort of back to normal, we are ahead. We have 76 new business licenses issued. We are ahead of both of the previous 2 years. So all of this, the net is that South Carolina is showing some resiliency, and I think our local economy is coming back. We touched on last week or the week before our noticing that there is vacant retail space in Mount Pleasant. Some of the large chain restaurants that have gone out of business, and some smaller things like the zoo on Ben Sawyer Boulevard that I know many of y'all were members of. I've seen you there, but we just have to figure out what the trend is going to be, especially for retail. We know there was a change in retail buying practices and habits that preceded COVID. How much more is that going to change? And we're gonna have to look at that to tie things in together so that you see what I did there. One of the things we did in our new comprehensive plan is that we recognize that a lot of, almost exclusively, but not always exclusively, some of them are older multifamily developments that are kind of at the end of their useful life and need to be redone, is we have redevelopment areas. And what we tried to balance was if an area gets redeveloped, that it gets redeveloped in a way that doesn't strain, especially the traffic infrastructure in that area, more than what is already built in. And so as retail and all changes, we're going to see things change. I hope we see more office in Mount Pleasant. I hope we see more people and more of you that are listening working on this side of the bridge instead of having commute to the other side. We know from national publications that a lot of businesses are leaving the highly urbanized areas and looking for suburban communities with high quality of life and low crime like Mount Pleasant has. So we want to work on that and capitalize on that. And our numbers are showing that we indeed are resilient and our business is coming back. And I'm glad to see that.
To that point, I wanted to bring in Lauren Sims. Lauren, I know you talk a lot with businesses and I know for the town's sake, you want to make sure that the lines of communication are open. And I know that's very important to you, that if businesses see something that they have a concern about or a question about, that they are more than welcome to reach out to the town and communicate that, correct?
That's absolutely correct, Shane. And thanks for mentioning that. You know, weren't really sure what we were getting into in February and early March when all of this started and we all started working from home. I don't know that any of us anticipated it being quite a sustained response, as it looks like it will be. I mean, we're in month 7 already, and we're still not there yet. And so this is a long response time for businesses to be operating differently. I think a lot of folks thought some of these measures would be temporary, and they're just not. We don't know if we'll ever go back to the way things were before. And so just as businesses are continuing to adapt and find new ways to work, we want to make sure that they know that the town is here for them. And if there's something that we can be doing to support our business community, to please let us know. You know, we try our best to promote our businesses and to share events that they have going on through our weekly Around the Town newsletter. So just, you know, trying to get the word out there, but certainly happy to connect you with resources if you don't strong online presence, which is absolutely critical right now. If you don't have online product placement where you're actively showing folks the kinds of products that you have, because I think there is a strong desire to support local right now. But if you don't have, you know, images and examples of things that your business has to offer online, folks aren't going to necessarily dig through all the verbiage on websites. So it's got to be very easily accessible. You've got to be on social, things of that nature. So I know the Chamber has incredible members, and I'm sure they can reach out to you guys. We'd be happy to do the same. Everyone knows that we're here. We've got open ears. We're going to continue to be innovative on our end, but if there's something else that we can do, to please let us know.
What's the best way to reach if you directly, Lauren, but also to talk about the resources that the town does have, the website and all of that good stuff that folks can reach out to you through?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll drop my email in the chat box. It's our general business email, open4bizmp at tompsc.com. I'll drop that in there because that's a mouthful. But otherwise, I encourage you to visit us on our website, which is www.tompsc, town of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.com. And we have an entire portal on our website dedicated to our businesses. It's constantly being updated as information becomes available. And certainly we've got a whole host of other information. You can find everything from the meeting minutes for the public meetings that Mayor's talking about, to draft of the comprehensive plan that he just mentioned. Literally everything that we work on goes on our website. So there's quite a bit of information there. If I can help you dig through it and find what you're looking for, let me know.
Excellent. We appreciate that. And for those that are watching today, if you also would like some information from your chamber, you can visit our website, mountpleasantchamber.org. We have a number of resources there on the Coronavirus Resource Center page. You can actually sign up for flash news reports from the town. So we, in concert with the town, are making sure and hoping that we're able to provide you with all the information that you need to get through this very trying time. So we appreciate your time today and watching Monday with the Mayor. We do this each and every Monday. We meet with Mayor Haynie, and we obviously invite Lauren along as well, because she has the pulse of business owners and professionals and what's happening on the business side. And we don't want to talk too much about COVID. It obviously is a hot topic right now, but I think this is a great outlet to let folks know what is happening within the town of Mount Pleasant. And there are a couple of things, Mr. Mayor, that I'd like to cover before we let you go. First of all is the capital improvement projects meeting. I understand you have that coming up pretty soon. And then also the mask ordinance ends, I believe, in a couple of days. And so there's some talk about obviously extending that. So if you could comment on that, sir. And you're on mute, Mr. Mayor. It's okay.
I did that to cut back on feedback. Thanks. Am I coming through okay?
Yes, sir.
I adjusted my volumes to try to cut down on the static. Yeah, we do that every year. You know, our budget is divided in different ways, and one is capital improvements, the other is our regular operating budget. And at one time, we were the only municipality in the state of South Carolina that was spending more in capital improvements. You know, that's the things that make life better, like better roads and intersections and traffic control and parks and drainage and all that stuff. At one time, we were the only one that was spending more in that than we were in our operating. And this year, it's not that much different. But we meet in September and we look, because some of that is dependent on the types of revenues we get in. Sometimes we get grants for things. It's not as predictable as operating, which we have more control over. So we have that meeting coming up, and that will be on Tuesday, because Council Committee Day, because of Labor Day, will be on Monday the 31st. And our mask ordinance runs out at the end of the month, at the end of August. So since all of council members were going to be coming in anyway on that Tuesday, we will bring up renewing or not our mask ordinance. And I've been talking to a few council members, and I think just from a few, I haven't talked to all of them, that they have heard from more business owners who say, kind of like the restaurant said, it would probably help if y'all went ahead and made it go to all of retail. I don't know that will happen, but that is a conversation that's going on. I don't see us dropping the mask requirement for groceries and pharmacies. Again, the reason behind that is our vulnerable populations. They may not have to go to a home improvement store or a clothing store, but they do have to get groceries and medications. So that's the basic mask ordinance right there. So we'll have that coming up on Tuesday. I want to add too, especially as this has been a very rainy stretch of a few days, on Monday we're having a very important flood resiliency committee. This was formed recently. I got invited to go to the Dutch Dialogue's conclusion meeting that Charleston spent all that time and money on. I was very happy to be there. And one of the things that we learned was for your insurance rates, our bonding, and other things, that in coastal areas you now have to have, or it's very advisable, nobody makes you, but it's advisable to have a standing committee that does nothing but flooding. And we're fortunate, we're not built below sea level like parts of Charleston, so we don't have the problem to the degree that they do, but we do have areas that flood. And so this week we're having the chairman of the statewide flooding task force, Tom Mullican of Camden, will be coming down to address us and tell us what they found, what things we need to be looking at, and where we might go for funding for this, because we need grants. It's a very expensive fix. You think roads are expensive, wait till you start fixing drainage as well.
Well, and since you mentioned roads, I guess I'll go ahead and bring up Highway 41. I know that's a hot topic of conversation in the town, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of give us the latest on that.
Sure.
Are you there? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
There was a little glitch in the data stream there. Again, as I said last time, Highway 41 is a county project on a state road that gets federal approval, and we're the low end of the totem pole on this thing. The feds will approve it. It's on a state road, and the county did the referendum, and the county hired the folks and all of that. So first of all, before we talk about the details, the town is not the place at this point to give your input for change or love it or hate it or whatever. I have been a little surprised by the amount of coverage that I see in the paper and the public outcry and all of that over the proposed design. There are two alternatives, and one goes through the Phillips community. The other goes through Park West and comes out at Dunes West Boulevard, and they're very different. They're very different, not so much the traffic volume, but in what it takes in terms of interchanges and flyovers and things where you turn and go this way and all that. It'll make your head spin. So you can go to the website for all that. Lauren, you may have it handy. I didn't bring it because I always say it wrong. But there's a website, or Shane, somebody pull it up very quickly. Just Google Highway 41 and you'll see where you can go. At Monday's Transportation Committee of the town, the county is going to show us their preferred alternative. We are not voting on it. This is not for our approval. This is because places like Porche's Bluff Road, because remember, where the Phillips community is not in the town of Mount Pleasant, and where 17 and 41 come together is not in the town of Mount Pleasant, which is hard to imagine, but that's how our annexation laws work in this state. But at Brickyard and Hamlin Road, those turns and all those intersections, of course, are in the town, and where it will where it will go Winnowing Way and come over to Prochet's Bluff Road to get you from 41 to Billy Swales to keep you off 17. That is in the town. So we need to know what those designs look like and how they're going to affect our businesses and our citizens. So it is an information meeting only. I was in touch all weekend with members of county council. They don't even know that the proposal, alternative one, they won't vote on that until October, and they don't even know what that's going to look like at the end. So nothing is final, nothing has been approved. There has been a proposal of a plan. I'll editorialize a little bit and then I'll be quiet. A plan that can't get approved at the federal level because of any reason, whether it's environmental justice or rights of way or anything, will not get us a fix either. So what the town of Mount Pleasant wants to see is a balanced approach and an acceptable design that can go to Washington without outcry of either side or anything like that, and hopefully get approved, or we stand not having a fix for Highway 41. So that sounds like the ultimate, we got to have a little give and a little take, but we got to have a little give and a little take, or we're going to end up not having a design that is approved. So that'll be on our committee agenda. There's no vote telling the town of Mount Pleasant how you feel about it, other than the Mount Pleasant side. That's where we have governance. We don't have governance over the Phillips community. So I would like for people to just keep that in mind. It's like an online town hall right now with the county to go to Fix 41, South Carolina Highway 41, go on there and let the county know how you feel about it.
Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Drop the website in there.
Yeah, Laura dropped that website in the chat box, so folks are free to visit that site, of course. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for that very detailed answer. It's obviously been one of the hot topics of conversation in town, and wanted to give you an opportunity to address that. So, thank you very much. Anything else in addition that we need to cover? I think we pretty much hit all of our highlights for the day. Anything else you wanted to add, Mr. Mayor and/or Lauren?
I think we're good.
Shane, I just wanted to mention, I know I've mentioned it previously, but you asked about how to kind of stay in touch. We have a business alert email list on our website. It's very simple. You just go to the Notify Me button that's right on our main page, and then just search for business alerts. And right now, it is specific to COVID. So depending on what happens with the mask ordinance council meeting, we'll be sending out an update to everyone who's on that email list. So if you'd like to get updated information that's specific to businesses directly emailed to you, that's a great resource. We are hoping to expand that list as we move into the post-COVID world, and have very specifically for business-related updates from the town. They'll be at a future date. So right now, we're just sticking to COVID measures, but please make sure that you sign up for that if you're interested in receiving those emails.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for your time. It's always great to see you. We'll see you back here next Monday for Monday with the Mayor. And as always, stay healthy, be safe, and keep moving forward. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.